Let me get it for you. Get it here means to retrieve, but it can also mean to help with something. Let me help you with that. Do you need some help with that? Can I help you with that? How about me doing it for you? Would you like me to get it for you? If you want, I could get it for you. Any point in my getting it? The last group on the screen contains the less enthusiastic offers. You might accept such offers as those with the following responses. But again, you must signal if you are accepting less enthusiastic offers. You must sound very enthusiastic. Notice the examples become more enthusiastic. Oh, thanks a lot. That's nice of you, thanks. Thanks, that's very kind of you. Oh, would you? Thanks a lot. I would really appreciate it. How very kind of you. Or you can refuse those offers. Use the responses in this business file. No, don't bother, I can do it. No, it's all right, I can manage. Oh, thanks very much, but I'm okay. In this practice, tell your friend and coworker, and I am your coworker, about the following problems that you have. Ask for some help. If your coworker agrees to help, decide whether or not to accept, and make another statement, accepting or refusing. Here's an example. You have a tough report to write and don't know how to approach it. You. Could you help me with this report? I'm really having some problems. Me. Sure, I'll help if I can. You. Great, I really appreciate it. Or, thanks, I owe you one. Or, me. I'm awfully sorry, I can't. I've got a meeting downtown. You. Oh, all right, I'll manage. All right, here we go. Number 1, you have a tough report to write and don't know how to approach it. You. Me. Sure, I'll help if I can. You. Okay, let's try it again. You have a tough report to write and don't know how to approach it. You. Could you help me with this report? I'm really having some problems. Me. Sure, I'll help if I can. You. Oh, thanks a lot. Remember, of course, your responses can vary. Number 2. You forgot to get the Wall Street Journal on your way to the office, and now you haven't time. You. Me. I'm sorry. I'm due in Miss Bishop's office in 5 minutes. You. Good. Let's review. You forgot to get the Wall Street Journal on your way to the office, and now you haven't time. You. Would you please pick up a copy of the Wall Street Journal for me? Me. I'm sorry. I'm due in Miss Bishop's office in 5 minutes. You. That's all right. I can get by without it. Number 3. You forgot your wallet. $20 will be enough. You. Me. I've only got $20 today, but I can give you 10. You. Good. Let's review. You forgot your wallet. $20 will be enough. You. I wonder, could you please lend me $20? I forgot my wallet. Me. I've only got $20 today, but I can give you 10. You. Great. I really appreciate it. You won't be short, will you? Number 4. You've just completed a proposal that needs to be sent by courier. You. Me. I have to finish printing this report. Can it wait till after lunch? You. Let's review. You've just completed a proposal that needs to be sent by courier. You. Would it be possible for you to send this proposal by courier for me? Me. I have to finish printing this report. Can it wait till after lunch? You. No, that's okay. I'll ask in the next office. Number 5. You feel like having a cup of coffee, and you think your coworker might fetch one. You. Me. Yes, I'll go get the coffee, but you've got to buy me one, okay? You. Let's review. You feel like having a cup of coffee, and you think your coworker might fetch one. You. I'd really like some coffee. Would you be willing to bring me one? Me. Yes, I'll go get the coffee, but you've got to buy me one, okay? You. You bet. Here's some money. Get yourself a muffin if you feel like it also. Thanks a lot. Number 6. You can't get your printer to work. You. Me. Oh no, I'm the wrong person to ask. I know nothing about computers, sorry. You. Let's review. You can't get your printer to work. You. Would you please help me with this printer? It's jammed. Me. Oh no, I'm the wrong person to ask. I know nothing about computers, sorry. You. That's okay. I know how you feel. I'll try downstairs. Number 7. A zipper has broken on your clothing. You hope someone in your office has a safety pin. You. Me. I'm sorry, I don't have anything like that. Ask Monique. She has lots of sewing things. You. And the review? A zipper has broken on your clothing. You hope someone in your office has a safety pin. You. Would you by any chance have a safety pin in your desk? Me. I'm sorry, I don't have anything like that. Ask Monique. She has lots of sewing things. You. Good, thanks. I'll ask her. That was a good job, and it was a tough practice. Remember, before you move on to the next lesson, feel comfortable with the material in this lesson. A special kind of request is one where you seek permission to do something. You may need to know if it is permitted. Here are some considerations when you ask permission. Consider the type of action you want to take. Consider the level of difficulty getting permission. Consider who you are, I mean your age, your position, and consider whom you are interacting with. In the following business file, there is a list of several different ways to ask permission. The forms become increasingly polite in the list. I'm going to open the window, turn off the light, etc. I thought I'd like to, all right if I, do you mind if I, is it all right if I? Would it be all right if I? Would you mind if I? I wonder if I could. Could I possibly? Would it be possible for me to? Now I'm going to ask you to do a little role playing. Oh joy. Actually, it's really an effective way to sharpen your business communications. You must ask your partner for permission to do different things. Ask for permission or make requests appropriate to the situations. Try to provide a reason for the request. Here's an example. I am the boss. You are one of my most dependable workers. Take a day off Monday. You. Could I possibly take Monday off? My daughter has a jiu-jitsu tournament. All right? Let's try a few. Number 1. I am the boss. You are one of my most dependable workers. Take a day off Monday. You. That's right. Could I possibly take Monday off? My daughter has a jiu-jitsu tournament. Now, of course, your requests can vary. Number 2. I am a co-worker. We get along well together. Edit the letter to the agency. You. All right if I edit the letter to the agency? Good. Number 3. I am the supervisor. You are an employee who has often missed deadlines. Need more time to finish the spreadsheet. You. Okay. Would it be all right if I took more time to finish the spreadsheet? Number 4. I am the boss. You are an employee who forgot to tell me about a missed deadline. The project is behind schedule. You. All right. I wonder if I could tell you some bad news. The project is behind schedule. Now, how to give permission? Well, permission is usually given or granted in a short phrase. In the following business file, the phrases granting permission also increase in formality. Okay. Sure, go ahead. All right. Yes, fine. Of course. Certainly. And refusing requests for permission? You can refuse permission with statements from this business file. Remember, however, that there are many variations. Phrases like I think and not a very good idea are often used to soften refusals. Again, they increase in formality. No, I can't help you. I don't think so. That's not a great idea. No, please don't. I'd rather you didn't. I'd prefer you didn't. I'm very sorry, but that's impossible. Let's do each of these situations as an actual practice. I'm sure you'll remember them from a previous practice, but this time we will reverse the roles, and that'll be fun. You must either grant or refuse permission, depending on the situation. Let me show you an example. This time, you are the boss. I am one of your most dependable workers. Take a day off Monday. Me. Would it be possible for me to take Monday off? You. Sure, that's all right. Okay, here we go. Number 1. You are the boss. I am one of your most dependable workers. Take a day off Monday. Me. Would it be possible for me to take Monday off? You. You would probably say, sure, go ahead. After all, I'm a dependable worker. Number 2. I am a friend and co-worker. We get along well together. Edit the letter to the agency. Me. All right if I edit the letter to the agency? You. You would probably say, yes, go ahead, or something like that. We're friends, we get along together, and a refusal would be rude. Number 3, you are the supervisor. I am an employee who has often missed deadlines. Need more time to finish the spreadsheet. Me. Would it be all right if I took more time to finish the spreadsheet? You. You would probably say, I'm very sorry. I would like this job finished now because I have repeatedly missed deadlines. Number 4, you are the boss. I am an employee who forgot to tell you about a missed deadline. The project is behind schedule. Me. I wonder if I could tell you some bad news. The project is behind schedule. You. You would probably say, I'm sorry. We need it this week. Why? It's already past due, and I missed deadlines. Now, let's look at some more complicated permission dialogues. In this practice, you'll be prompted for the role you have to play. Think about it, then make an appropriate permission request. Try to answer each situation carefully. I think you'll get kind of a kick out of this. Here's an example. Ask your boss to let you change your vacation from next week to the week after. You don't usually ask for favors. Your response? Would it be possible for me to change my vacation from next week to the following week? I've had a change of plans, and I don't usually ask for favors. All right, let's do the practice. You'll see the cues on screen. Watch carefully. Number 1, ask your boss to let you change your vacation from next week to the week after. You don't usually ask for favors. You. You might say, would it be possible for me to change my vacation from next week to the following week? I've had a change of plans, and I don't usually ask for favors. Number 2, ask your friend if you can borrow her car. You've known her for many years. You. Well, you could say, since you know me so well, would you agree to lend me your car? Number 3, ask your supervisor to let you leave work early. Your child will perform in a school play. You. You might say, I know this might be an imposition, but could you possibly let me leave a little early today? My child is in the school play. Number 4. Now, remember your request in the first item? You asked your boss for a vacation change? Now, ask your boss again. This time you want to take the Friday off before your vacation begins to take advantage of a better airfare. You. You might say, I'm embarrassed to ask this favor, but may I take off the Friday before my vacation begins? My travel agent got me a good deal on an airfare. Good job. Of course, your reasons might be different or better than mine, and a variety of permission expressions could be used in these situations. Now, more permission requests. These are what I call everyday situations at work, and they vary in importance from nonsense, well, not quite, to quite important. You're going to ask your associate to do various things according to the prompts. Make your requests appropriate. Give reasons if necessary. Here's an example. Ask your boss to let you open the window. It's very stuffy. Would you mind if I open the window? It's very stuffy in here. Or, here's another variation. Would you mind if I open the window? I'm allergic to cigarette smoke. All right? Let's try these. I'll read the situation, respond to the you prompt. Here we go. Speak aloud. Number 1. Ask your boss to let you open the window. It's very stuffy. You. You might say, would you mind if I open the window? It's very stuffy in here. Number 2. Ask your boss to let you make a long-distance phone call to a friend in New York. Let your boss know you want to use the office phone because you can only call during business hours. You. You might say, would it be possible for me to call my friend long distance on the office phone? I can only reach him during business hours. Number 3. Ask your wife or husband if one of your friends can come and watch an important show on TV tonight. You. You might say, is it all right if I ask Eva Kandinsky to watch the Olympics with us on TV tonight? Number 4. Ask your wife or husband or roommate if one of your coworkers can come over this evening so that the two of you can work on an important presentation. You. You might say, you don't mind if I invite Marina Talley to come by tonight, do you? We've got to work on a presentation together. Very good, and that was a tough exercise. A direct complaint in English often sounds very rude. Perhaps not in a big city, where complaints may be a regular part of daily life. But generally, complaints are softened so they become civilized communication. To be polite, we usually break the bad news gently. Here are a couple of examples. I'm sorry to have to say this, but I've never received very good service from your account representatives. Or, I don't want to create a problem, but this ad campaign is simply not bold enough for our purposes. Notice that there is an introductory statement, which is gentle. I'm sorry to have to say this. Or, I don't want to create a problem. And that is followed by the actual complaint. I've never received very good service. The ad campaign won't work. We use expressions like these and those listed in the following business file before we actually make our point. Note these examples. Complaint openers. I wonder if you could help me. Look, I'm sorry to bother you, but there's something you could help me with. I hate to say this, but I'm sorry to have to say this, but I think you may have forgotten. It may have slipped your mind, but there may have been a misunderstanding about. I don't want to create a problem. Okay, now let's practice making complaints. Here's an example. Your colleague shouldn't have made a private long-distance call on the office phone. You. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but you shouldn't have made a private long-distance call on the office phone. Got it? Okay, let's try these. Number 1. Your colleague shouldn't have made a private long-distance call on the office phone. You. You might have said, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but you shouldn't have made a private long-distance call on the office phone. Now remember, your responses will vary from mine. Number 2. Your assistant should have faxed Philadelphia, not written a letter. A fax is much quicker. You. Well, you might have said, there's something I need to tell you. You should have faxed Philadelphia. A fax is much quicker for important information. Number 3. Your supervisor made an appointment for both of you to see the vice president on Wednesday, but you both have a previous meeting. You. You might have said, I hate to have to say this, but we both have meetings at the same time. We are booked with the vice president. Can we reschedule? Number 4. Your colleague should have contacted the data processing manager before sending in an order for computer software. You. Well, you might have said, I don't want to create a problem, but you should have contacted the data processing manager before sending in the software order. That was excellent. Now practice these situations because they occur quite often. Responses to complaints require diplomacy. In a response, it's often not enough to simply say sorry and promise that the problem won't happen again. You may have to apologize more elaborately, like this. Oh, I'm awfully sorry. Clearly there has been a slip-up in our service procedures. In many cases, you should anticipate the complaint. Your opener might help minimize or even eliminate the actual complaint. The following business file lists some complaint response openers. Complaint response openers. Oh, I'm awfully sorry. Please accept my apologies. I'm very sorry, I didn't realize. I can't tell you how sorry I am. I'm extremely sorry. I just don't know what to say. Now, these openers are listed generally so that the more serious ones are the later ones. Next, we will examine 3 situations when they appear on screen. I think you can imagine the complaints that might come from each one. Think of how to respond to them. I'll explain each one. Number 1. You arrived 25 minutes late for a business luncheon appointment with your boss and a very important client. Now that's not a great situation. Which opener to use? Oh, I'm awfully sorry, or I'm extremely sorry. Probably the last one if you want to keep your job. Let's look at number 2. You arrive at your monthly meeting with your supervisor, but without the appropriate documents. Well, it's not the end of the world, but how do you get out of the situation? Could you use the opener, please accept my apologies? Well, if you added, I'll just ask Robert to bring them in, or something like that. Try number 3. You have just printed your boss's departmental memorandum for the third time, and your boss points out that it still contains 2 errors. How to respond to this? Try this opener. I'm extremely sorry. And then complete the statement. I'm extremely sorry. It was a stupid oversight. I'll make that correction immediately. Okay, we all have bad days. All right, now I'm going to give you a chance to respond to or anticipate complaints coming from the same situations. We'll do them one by one on screen. I'll read each situation. 2 response openers are listed beneath each one. Take a minute. Think of the situation and your response. Choose one of the openers, and then make the complete response aloud. All right? Here we go. Number 1. You arrived 25 minutes late for a business luncheon appointment with your boss and a very important client. Oh, I'm awfully sorry. I can't tell you how sorry I am. You. You might have said, oh, I'm awfully sorry. There was a car fire on the Long Island Expressway. Or, of course, you could have used the other opener, and you might have said, I can't tell you how sorry I am. There was a car fire on the Long Island Expressway. Traffic was murder. Number 2. You arrive at your monthly meeting with your supervisor, but without the appropriate documents. I'm very sorry, I didn't realize. I just don't know what to say. You. You might have said, I'm very sorry, I didn't realize that my notes are in my briefcase. If you can wait a minute, I'll call and have them delivered. Or you could have used the other opener. I just don't know what to say. I left my notes in my briefcase. If you can wait a minute, I'll have them delivered. Number 3. You have just printed your boss's departmental memorandum for the third time, and your boss points out that it still contains 2 errors, which you had corrected on the first draft. Oh, I'm awfully sorry. I'm extremely sorry. You. Well, you might have said, oh, I'm awfully sorry. This should not have happened. The change wasn't saved. I'll correct it this minute. Or you might have used the other opener. I'm extremely sorry. This should not have happened. The change wasn't saved, but I'll correct it this minute. That's great, and a good job. Now, this is a basic complaint practice. You must break the bad news and or complain to your colleague according to the situations described in each item. Try to offer a solution or an alternative. Here's an example. You have forgotten to phone Munich, and now it's too late because it's after office hours for them. I'm awfully sorry, but I forgot to phone Munich. Now it's after office hours. Shall I fax them a message or wait till tomorrow? Notice, of course, suggesting a solution or a remedy makes a big difference. It's better than simply presenting the bad news. You see how diplomacy is an important part of responding to complaints. Remember, apology, possible help, remedy. Let's practice a few of these situations. You've got to speak aloud, and you've got to offer alternatives. You must be imaginative. Here we go. Number 1, you have forgotten to phone Munich. and now it's too late. It's after office hours for them. You. You might have responded, I'm awfully sorry, but I forgot to phone Munich. Now it's after office hours. Shall I fax them a message or wait till tomorrow? Of course, your responses will vary from mine. Number 2, your colleague should have checked with your supervisor before placing the order with the people in Toronto. You. Well, you might have said, I'm extremely sorry, but my colleague should have checked with you before placing the order. And you might have added, I'll be happy to make any changes. Number 3, you have left a file at home. It contains the documents your colleague needs to have for a meeting today. You. You might have said, I just don't know what to say. I've left the documents at home. And then if you were imaginative, you would have added, I'll phone and ask them to be sent here by messenger, or something like that. Number 4, you didn't send the quote to Caulfield International yesterday, and now you may have lost the order. You. You might have responded, oh, I'm extremely sorry. I didn't send Caulfield International a quote yesterday. I'll call them immediately and check on the order. Apologies are naturally related to complaints, which we discussed in the last lesson. And in fact, they're based on developing the idea of responding to or anticipating complaints. When you do something wrong in business, or for that matter in daily life, you save yourself a lot of trouble by apologizing first. Before someone complains to you, before anyone has time to build up resentment towards you, or your organization, or your firm. We saw in the last lesson that it is usually a good idea to break the bad news gently. Here are some useful opening expressions in this business file. Bad news openers. I'm not exactly sure how to put this, but I've got to apologize for... I'm afraid I have something to tell you. This isn't easy to explain, but I believe I owe you an apology. Now, after someone has heard what you've done, they may ask you to explain how it happened. Maybe they will let you off the hook and forgive you. So, we have a business file on forgiving expressions. Oh, that's all right. Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. Forget it. Oh, never mind. It doesn't really matter. Please don't blame yourself. That's understandable, but I hope it doesn't happen again. Well, it's rather serious. I certainly assume that it won't happen again. Notice those last two expressions are much less forgiving than the ones that come before. In the next practice, you must make apologies to me. Imagine that I am your coworker. The on-screen situations will provide the basic information. Here's an example. You borrowed $50 from your coworker last week and promised to pay it back today. Break the bad news gently. You. I'm very sorry, Itzhak. I've had some difficult problems. I won't be able to pay back your $50 until next week. I feel terrible about this. I hope you will understand. Now, obviously, this is a very touchy or delicate situation. The strategy, of course, is simple. Make your coworker feel okay, that he or she will receive the money, but next week or later. All right. Now let's make this an imaginative practice. You will see the situations on screen. Make a response. Measure your response against mine, but don't worry if there isn't an exact match. Here we go. You borrowed $50 from your coworker, Itzhak, last week and promised to pay it back today. But you can't. Break the bad news gently. You. You might have said, "I'm very sorry, Itzhak. I've had some difficult problems. I won't be able to pay back your $50 until next week. I feel terrible about this." And you might have added, "I hope you'll understand." 2. You promised your friend Pietro that you would telephone the theater to reserve some tickets last week, but it slipped your mind, and there are no seats left. Break the bad news to your friend gently, because your friend was really looking forward to seeing the play. You. Well, you might have said, "Pietro, I'm really very sorry. I forgot to buy the tickets last week. When I called yesterday, they were sold out. Now I owe you a big one." Number 3. Your boss, Miss Frausches, loaned you her car this morning, and while you were parking it, you scratched it all along the driver's side. Break the news to your boss gently, because the car was new last month and you promised to be very careful. You. Well, you might have said, "I don't know how to tell you this, Miss Frausches. While I was parking your car, I scratched it all along the driver's side. I feel terrible." And then if you're really smart, you might add, "I couldn't believe it. Of course, I will pay for the repairs." A very good exercise. Now, here's a hint. When it comes to apologies, business or personal, it's usually better to be straightforward and honest. Then, the worst is history. In fact, Benjamin Franklin, one of our founding fathers, expressed it this way: "Honesty is the best policy." And that's it for this lesson. Business communication is always delicate or sensitive. That just means that we must sense how the people we communicate with will feel about our communication. In this lesson, we will move up the ladder to what we might call delicate communication. Here's a business file which illustrates our overall goals in business communication. The goals of business communication: to be clear, to be polite, to be efficient. Of course, the goals remain the same when our business communication deals with delicate communication. Now let me show you a practice which allows us to explore some situations in the realm of sensitive communication. First, we will define a delicate situation. Second, we will communicate the related problem in a business environment. Imagine that you must tell a coworker, a supervisor, even a client, about a vexing problem in a sensitive situation. Vexing means annoying or irritating. That person will react to you according to how you present the information, how you present the problem, and the possible options. Here's an example. You have a terrible headache. You need to finish printing a document. You might say, I'm in a bit of a bind. I have a terrible headache, but I need to finish printing this document. Can you help me? That's informal, good for a friend or coworker. Or you might say, this is a bit of an embarrassment, but I wonder if you would be kind enough to help me. I have a terrible headache, but I need to finish printing this document. That's more formal, supervisor or coworker you're not acquainted with. Or here's another version. This is a bit of an embarrassment. I have a terrible headache, but I need to finish printing this document. I wonder if you would be kind enough to help me. Now this is a simple, even personal problem, but it occurs at the office, and so it affects you and others in a business situation. It's important to practice the language which will help you communicate in delicate circumstances. Here, in this business file, are a few expressions that will help you introduce some delicate communication situations. Delicate helpers. Look, I'll be frank. Here's the problem I'm facing. Can you help me? I'm in a bit of a bind. Can you help me? I've messed up, and I wonder if you can help me. I'm embarrassed to say that I've got a problem, and I would like to ask if you can help me with it. A sticky problem has arisen just recently, and I would really appreciate your help in solving it. This is a bit of an embarrassment, but I wonder if you would be kind enough to help me. This is a terrible embarrassment. I wonder if you might allow me or permit me. I beg your pardon for this difficulty, but I need some assistance with. Now note, these helpers increase in formality. Let's practice now. Tell your coworker exactly what your problem is and ask for assistance. You have a terrible headache and you need to finish printing a document. You. Well, you might have said, I'm in a bit of a bind. I have a terrible headache, but I need to finish printing this document. Can you help me? That's informal. Or another semi-formal response might have been, I'm embarrassed to say that I've got a problem and I would like to ask you if you can help me with it. I have a terrible headache, but I need to finish printing this document. Of course, your statements can vary, and you should compare them with my examples. Number 2, you are dying for a cup of coffee. The office phones need answering. You. Well, you might say, look, I'll be frank. I'm dying for a cup of coffee. Can you please deal with the phones for a few minutes? Or you might have said, listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm dying for a cup of coffee. Would you please answer the phone while I take a short break? Number 3, you have a handwritten memo. It should be laser printed. You. You might have said something like, I'm embarrassed to have to tell you this problem, but I'll be frank. I've written an important memo by hand, but I really need to print it on the laser printer. Can you help me, please? 4. Your calendar is lost. Your client wants to schedule a meeting with you. You. You might have said, I beg your pardon for this difficulty, but I need some assistance with our schedule. You see, I've misplaced my calendar. Can you give me a couple of possible dates and I'll check with you as soon as I confirm my schedule? Number 5. You've long ago lost the sales memo. At lunch, your boss asks for your reaction to it. You. Well, you might say something like this. I'm embarrassed to say that I've got a problem. I've misplaced my copy of that memo. Would you ask your assistant to send me another copy? I could then send you a written reaction to it. Number 6. You're going to take your client to lunch. He or she is very picky and critical. You. You might say, I'm embarrassed to say that I have no idea of what kind of restaurant you might like. Please give me a suggestion or two. I would like to take you someplace you like. Number 7. You've done it again. Scheduled a client dinner meeting on one of your kids' birthdays. The client is confirming by phone. You. Well, you could say, this is a terrible embarrassment. I wonder if you might allow me to reschedule our dinner meeting. You see, our original date is my daughter's birthday, and I simply forgot. Number 8. You must phone a firm in the U.S. and speak in English. You feel, you just sense that your coworker is afraid you'll blow it. You. You could say something like this. I'm in a bit of a bind. Can you help me? Please tell me if you are uncomfortable with me making the call to the U.S. Would you rather make it yourself? Please be honest. Number 9. You have just discovered that your personal computer has a virus. You recently copied some files and distributed them to your supervisor. You. Well, you might say, a sticky problem has arisen just recently, and I would really appreciate your help in solving it. I'm worried that the files I copied for you may be infected with a virus. I found one on my PC. Number 10. You have misplaced your boss's itinerary for the April trip. She is now asking about a particular travel item. You. Well, you might say, this is a bit of an embarrassment. I've misplaced my copy of the itinerary. I wonder if I could get back to you with this information as quickly as I can. That's very good. Remember, delicate business situations require continuing practice. In this lesson, we focus on an incredibly important aspect of business communication: business telephone English, the fundamentals. It's important, of course, because many of our original business contacts are established via the telephone. This is also a difficult aspect of business communication. Why? Well, because you can't see whom you're speaking with. So you get no additional information about the message, no body language, no face-to-face opportunity to share these signals. So telephone communication is always difficult when you're using a second language or a new language. Remember, use your dictionary when you come across words you're not familiar with. Here is a business file which lists the most common steps of an American English telephone conversation for business purposes. Greetings. An example, hello, standard for any individual. And then good morning, good afternoon. We have identifiers. Here's an example. This is Dr. Jex, or hello, this is William Jex. And we have identifiers with greetings. Good morning, American BizCom, something a receptionist might say, or a departmental identifier. Hello, accounts, Jaime Lopez speaking. We have offers of assistance. Here's an example. May I help you? Or how may I help you? Offers are usually made by receptionists. We have expressions for information exchange. This is a major segment of the conversation, and there are different ways to initiate it. Here's an example. I'd like to speak with, or I'm calling about the advertisement, or I would like some information about, or finally, I wonder if I might speak with someone about. And those expressions are completed with the relevant information. Then we have confirmations. These are very important in American business English. It's important to confirm requests, appointments, orders, etc., because it avoids misunderstandings. Here's an example. Just to confirm, that's Wednesday, December 8th, 4 p.m. in your office, all right? Or another example, let me just double check your ordering information. That's item number 4773, correct? And of course you could add additional information relevant to the order. Finally, we've got closing expressions. Here's an example. Goodbye, that's standard, but it's usually more polite and memorable if you can add thanks and convey the idea that you're interested in furthering the association. Here's an example. Goodbye then, I look forward to our meeting. Or, please call again if you have any questions about this transaction. Goodbye. We'll practice some telephone situations in a minute, but first I'd like to offer you a few strategic hints. Here's one. Listen very carefully. Obviously, that way you get the information at once. Respond positively. This is part of the confirmation idea that we practiced in our business file. Respond positively like, yes, I think that's very important also. Or, yes, I know exactly how you feel. Or, yes, I understand what you mean. Now, of course, if you don't catch it all from the confirmations, here are a couple of useful expressions that will help you reconfirm that information. Let me see if I understand you completely, and then repeat the information. Or, can you repeat that last bit, please? I'm not sure I got it all. And our final hint, take notes. That may sound obvious, but it's very important. Record that critical information, addresses, dates, and figures. All right, we're going to do a practice, and we will focus on making appointments by telephone. First, here's a business file of useful expressions for these situations. Expressions for appointments. Could we make an appointment to discuss this issue? Can we arrange to meet? Or can we arrange a meeting or an appointment? I'd like to set up a meeting with you if possible. Sure, I'd be happy to meet with you. I'd be very happy to meet with you. Of course, that would be helpful. Certainly, I would like that. What's your schedule like? When would it be convenient for you? Tell me what time's best for you. Next Friday would be most convenient for me. I'm afraid I won't be free till the middle of the month. Let me check my agenda, or calendar, or schedule, or day planner. How about the week of January 12th? Would Wednesday afternoon be possible? Would 2 p.m. be all right? How about early morning, say 9 a.m.? That's just fine. Let me get it straight and hear you repeat the date and the time. Or, I can't do it then. Could we make it and hear you add the new date and time? Fine. I look forward to seeing you then. Thanks a lot. I'm sure we'll have a very productive meeting. You may wish to study this business file further or write it down on a piece of paper before you continue with the next practice. All right, you've studied the business file. In our practice, you'll use some of those expressions to set up a meeting or make an appointment with me. Here's an example. You want to meet me ASAP. ASAP means as soon as possible. You want to meet me ASAP. You. I wonder, would it be possible to set up a meeting? Me. Sure, I'd be happy to meet with you. You. When would it be convenient for you? The sooner the better. That's if you want urgency. Me. Well, I'm busy most of next week. What about the week of the 14th? You. That's fine with me. Is Monday all right? And what time would be most convenient? Me. Let's say in the morning, 10 o'clock? You. Fine, thank you. I look forward to meeting you then. That's Monday, January 14th, 10 o'clock at your office, right? Now let's practice. You'll initiate the meeting with me, provide the statements necessary at the you prompts. You will see my response on the screen, and we'll review as we go. Example, you want to meet me ASAP. You. I wonder, would it be possible to set up a meeting? Me. Sure, I'd be happy to meet with you. You. When would it be convenient for you? The sooner the better. Me. Well, I'm busy most of next week. What about the week of the 14th? You. That's fine with me. Is Monday all right? And what time would be most convenient? Me. Let's say in the morning, 10 o'clock? You. Fine, thank you. I look forward to meeting you then. That's Monday, January 14th, 10 o'clock at your office, right? Very nice. And that was a lot of fun, right? Now, in this practice, we'll reverse roles. I'll ask to make the appointment with you, and you respond. Example, I want to meet you ASAP. Me. Can we arrange to have a meeting sometime soon? You. Sure, I'd be happy to meet with you. Me. Tell me, what's the best time for you? You. Well, I'm busy most of next week. What about the week of the 14th? Me. That's fine with me. Is Monday all right? And what time would be most convenient? You. Let's say in the morning, 10 o'clock? Me. Fine, thank you. I look forward to meeting you. Let me get it straight. That's Monday, January 14th, 10 o'clock at your office, right? You. That's right. See you then. Of course, you have to close the conversation. Very nice. These telephone situations are truly fundamental. Make sure you're comfortable with the language of them.